we're live after what a night of Dandy. Congratulations to the Golden God. Had us sweating bullets for the entire hour. This man is a wild man that we know why they call him the Golden God, as he did the most death-defying Deal or No Deal that we've ever seen before. Incredible win by David. Nearly $6 million. He has won the largest prize in network television history. Congratulations to David. And we have to talk through this an hour of Deal or No Deal. Not take out the island. Just Deal or No Deal tonight, as David has done it. And we are back here with Jenny. Jenny, how are you?
Oh,
okay?
My goodness, Rob. Well, for the second time in this podcast journey, I feel like I need a cigarette.
Wow.
No, I mean, sometimes when you are, lacking the words yourself, you look to legends like First Boot Luke, who said it perfectly in tonight's finale. Holy cats, eh?
Holy
cats.
I can't believe it.
I believe that was in reaction to the banker, but it applies to the whole experience of what we just witnessed. So,
okay.
Holy cats.
All right. And holy cats, it's Chappell.
Y'all, that was erotic. Like, I am still over here just like, what the hell did we just watch? Like Jenny said, let's turn to the words of legends. This man has the hairiest. I mean, God dang. I mean, what? I know his
big
back
and hairy.
carrying the big hairy ball. This man is crazy. Oh my God. This is I didn't, sir. I was not familiar with your work, but dear God, that was crazy. Rob, no notes. No notes.
It was a wild night of watching television, and we have not been shy about we love the Deal or No Deal Island. The Deal or No Deal part is sometimes not our favorite part of the show, and for a night where we had like 90% of Deal or No Deal, like this was super exciting. It was. I feel like it's like we were in a movie, and there was like a guy at the craps table, and he just kept rolling, and they're like 7 and God's number, and then he just kept, and then he's like, all right, I'm all in. We're like, no, stop, what are you doing? He's like, I'm going again. I'm feeling it. Like it wasn't our money, but we were all at the craps table.
There were simultaneous shows happening too, because I was so entertained by watching like the eliminated players cheering him on, but like I felt like they were almost more stressed than he was. Like there was just like the side shows and side conversations taking place. Like it was a spectacle. It had everything.
Okay. So we're going to talk about it all here tonight as we put Deal or No Deal Island Season 2 into the books. But on Wednesday, we will have exit interviews with the winner and the runner-up. So we'll get to talk with David and Letty. That's coming up on Wednesday here on RHAP. Make sure you're subscribed to catch it all. Very much looking forward to that. And so let's get into this huge night. I mean, this was wild that, David has, and I don't even know how to recap all of this, but it was wild that he kept going in a scenario where it wasn't like there were multiple high value cases where there wasn't like 12 million, 5 million, 6 million, where, I mean, he was like one wrong case away from, he would have gone home with like $52
for like a while. Like there were several rounds where he was like either, going for the biggest case or like $50. It was insane, especially because it was like there was such a gap between the ultimate largest case and like the next highest case. So
it was like Luke set the tone for the season that we're gonna have this a lot, where there's gonna be like one like 2-digit number and then like a big number, and we're gonna have constantly contestants are going to have to pick between, what do you take the deal? Do you keep going? Do you open your case? And I thought that what was even more impressive for David, it wasn't that he had the 12 million in his case, that the 12 million was on the board. He picked around, like, I guess, I don't know, like, I'm not a mathematician. It's probably the same odds to, maybe not. I don't know. Text Christian Hubicki. Is it the same odds to just, pick the 12 million, 1 out of 25 versus open every other one except the 12 million?
I don't know, but it was gripping to watch. It was just like, because when you watch it, now that you know that that's the case, it's crazy because at any time he could have just like effed up and said that, and you know that watching him play it, him going, they're saying, David, it's either this low number or this high number, but I guess you could knock out one of these millions. He's like, knock off another million. I was like, and he's like, knock off another million. Like, David, stop it. Everyone was begging this man to stop. And I was kind of like, David, keep going. Keep going. Yeah. Keep going. Yeah,
I will say,
stop.
I think it was a little on the nose that the 12 million was in case 7. Lucky number 7.
It's his lucky number.
He said that's what made it
God's number.
Yeah, but he said it was his lucky number too.
Mm-hmm.
He's the golden god.
Yeah.
So, because that's what made it so impressive, because he got down to 3 and he's like, there's something, he said, this case number that I took here, 18 is special, 7 is special, 24 not so special. So the fact that he like narrowed it down, and it's not like 7 meant nothing, and then he was like like he it's like he felt, he knew that it was in one of those 2 cases.
I really have so many questions for David, that he could be a witch, he might be a Jedi. I'm just mesmerized that I'm very interested in, like, I want to like know everything about David's process. Like, if David has some sort of like a mentorship program, like forget about Dixon. I want to like take me under your wing. I want to know the ways of the universe, David.
Yeah, because he got it. I mean, even when you think about the idea that he got it down to just
should I get a necklace? Is that what I need? A necklace?
You gotta get a necklace. You gotta have some bling. You're not gonna be able to pull this off. You need the leather jacket that he wore on Australian Survivor as well. But to get down, Jenny, to those cases, right? And to have the discipline at that point, you've been just killing it. And then he just stops and like, no, that's good. I was like, wait. A part of me was thinking, how do you stop? Why would you? Yeah, like, why would you? I like, obviously, I know why you would stop, but you come this far.
Yeah.
Do you know that you can? And he's like, nah, I've run out. This is it. That was the whole time. That was it.
He said it could be 7. He felt something about 7 too, and so he's like, this is a decent amount of money. And that offer between the like those last 2 offers, like that jumped significantly, makes quite a difference in what he ultimately takes home here. Just so impressive. Like, I have never made a decision properly in my entire life.
That part. Same.
I need the mentorship program in a big way, because obviously he's like sweating through this a little bit, but at the same time, there was just such control and like decisiveness and like confidence in his choices that was just like so.
That's
like,
what was amazing. That it was like being at a magic show where he would just like contemplate for a moment, and it's like he saw the numbers, like he knew what to do. Like, this is amazing.
He was limitless. He took one of those pills. It's like, he's firing on all cylinders.
And beyond limitless, he was like in the Matrix.
Right. Yeah. He could see the numbers.
He could see the code.
Yeah.
Yeah. This was so good. This man basically cooked John Legend in front of all of us. You know what I'm saying? Like, he beat the banker to a pulp. Poor Chrissy Teigen. For this to be her return to network television, this is not how you want to go out. You gave away so much money, man.
Well, she, you know what? Like, she might have been a bad banker, but she was like on the floor. She was going through it. I thought she we'll talk about the choice, but I thought that she really got into the role of that. She was really looking like, that she was going to have to sell the yacht.
Yeah, and David, to his strength, this man is a performer. This man is he gets on TV and he knows what to do. There's a moment where he's making he's talking to Chrissy and he climbs up on the thing and they're making eye contact. I was like, because we're in it. It's like you said, the guy at the crafts table. Yeah, it's like the guy at the crafts table. He like, blow on this. You're like, okay, no, I don't want to touch it. I'll touch it. Don't touch it. No, it's good. It's okay. We got it. It's like, okay, I don't know. And then he just, boom, hit it again. I said, okay, this man is a demon.
Even in the most stressful, intense moments, he's so cool. Like, how? Just,
I thought also Joe did an incredible job. Joe hosted his ass off throughout this entire segment. Like, he was really feeling the emotion in the room. I thought he was doing a great, especially with all of the tension coming down to it, with basically like, okay, make a great deal or you're basically going home with nothing.
Yeah. They're begging her. They're begging him to take the deal. They're begging him. His closest allies are like, David, stop. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. He's like, shh. Hey, I got it. No worries. They're like, okay.
And Joe kept on pointing to, the emotional parts of it too, because you hear David being like, I can't, leave that money on the table for my family. And then he's like, can you look your family in the eye? And that's a lot of money to not bring home to them. I'm like, Joe, oh my God. He's really amping up the intensity of it. But he just kept meeting David where he was at and presenting him with both options. He's like, in one scenario, you do this, the money is going to go down. You'll never see an offer like this again. But that case right there that you chose, that could have 12 million. And you're like, he's making a great point. He has me going back and forth. Yeah, Joe was incredible. I would be so stressed out if I was him, because how are you not in his shoes being like, this is a massive amount of money on the line here?
Everybody was playing their part. Everybody was down to Ben and Kamari. When they get to that case, and Ben's like, "No, it can't end like this." I'm like, "Ben!" And then he goes, "I was like, it's $25, Ben. You dirt." Because if I was Ben, I would have just folded. We did it, y'all. We did it. Yeah, this is crazy. Oh yeah, this is
the
crazy.
Poker face on Ben. Incredible.
Yeah, incredible.
Yeah. Let's go back to the beginning and let's talk through everything from this.
What's the beginning, Rob? What is life? What are you talking about? There was more to this episode.
Look, you want to do a 16-minute podcast?
I could talk about David winning this Deal or No Deal Island thing for 3 days in a row. I don't know.
Listen, follow me. I will give you the structure to keep talking about David. Okay.
That's what.
All right. I will get you. I will take you there.
Yeah,
okay. Trust
Pass
me.
Me the cigarette. Pass me the cigarette. I'm here. I'm in.
Okay.
I'm in.
No deal. Chappell.
Yeah, no deal.
Okay. Keep going. All right. So in the beginning of the episode, we go back to the cliffhanger of open David's suitcase, and is the $2 million there? Yes, that he got it from Philip. Never in doubt.
I mean, listen, it was fun that we had a little cliffhanger.
Yeah.
And it was over so quickly. It was just they basically just ushered Letty off. I was like, oh, okay, we really got to this quite quickly. But I felt pretty good about it. Just not knowing exactly what the number amounts were, because I couldn't figure out who had what amounts at what stations. Well, there was a chance. There's always a chance, right?
Yeah, going back to just I have my notes from last week. So Letty had the high case from Philip. She had the high case from Dixon, but Lachelle gave her the middle case. Or Lachelle, I think Lachelle told her which one was the bottom, and then she ended up picking the wrong one.
Yeah,
from
you don't
Lachelle.
Want this one. You don't want this one. Or,
David,
or maybe that was just I can't remember.
We should have known that he was destined for greatness in the Banker's Temple, because he picked the high case from Lachelle. What's meant for you is meant for you. He got the high case from Dixon, and he got the high case from Philip. So he got as high as you could have gotten, and that maybe even after. But he got the highest total that you could have gotten. Nobody could have beaten him.
And the issue here for Letty is that she looked at Philip and said, Philip, please, you gotta take these people for me. We've been allies in this game. I can win this, but you gotta come through for me. And Philip said, nah, me and David have a better relationship. David's social game is just impeccable. He might be one of the more dominant reality TV competitors of all time. You know, to see that he's been able to win Survivor and then to come here and basically make it through this game unscathed. Like, he was almost never in danger at all. He comes away with this massive amount of money, and people largely love him. You know, it's something to say about being able to just destroy a game like this and come in with such a big target. I mean, not to say that people knew that he was a winner necessarily, but they knew before he got to that challenge, basically. And on top of all that, he's a big guy. You should not want David anywhere near this challenge. And yet here he is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Letty could not have beaten him. That the best she could have done was tie him. And I don't know if the tiebreaker would have been the time that they completed the task. We don't know that. But even if if that was the tiebreaker, he beat her on that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I wonder if it was mathematically possible. Like, I guess it must have been if the number amounts, the high number amounts at every station were the same.
I think they were. I think they were 1.8, 1.9, 2 million.
So,
I think it seems like.
It is very possible that they could have tied. And yeah, I imagine that would be the tiebreaker. They didn't have to explain it because it wasn't ever going to be a thing. But you know, it makes you wonder. It's like, obviously, Letty had no control over this at Final Five. David had all the power. You know, she didn't have to face the banker, but she was still in a place of like, David is you know, partially in control of who's going to end up in this final three. And I just think ultimately for her, it was not an ideal final three because she does have the physical aspect. And she did have friends on you know, of these like eliminated players that ended up being, you know, a huge aspect of the final excursion, but not as people were not rooting for her quite as intensely as they were for David, or maybe they were just rooting almost equally and she needed that little bit of edge. So you have to wonder, was this a bad draw for Letty, and were there a lot of other scenarios where she could have pulled this out? Because like you guys said, everyone loves David. Like, for Philip to have his game literally ended by David, and still, you know, chooses to help him. And essentially in doing so ensures that he's the one that's going to win. And see everyone watching, you know, they were going to root for whoever was playing the banker, of course. But I don't think
CK. They were not. They wouldn't be like CK.
Like, that would have been an interesting like final banker situation. But I just think like seeing how emotional and like tapped in and intense everyone was feeling. That's partially because they like David and they're rooting for him. They want the best for him because they feel connected to him, and that is very, very powerful. And that is like very much why David is the GOAT. Like, this was just incredible.
The GOAT of Dondi?
I don't know. We might have to have a bigger conversation about reality TV competitors.
Easily
anyway.
the GOAT of Dondi. Like, that's just...
Wait, hold on. Don't disrespect Jordan. No, you're right, though, Jenny. Jordan did not tap this money. She did not sniff the money that David just, like, casually just walked up and got. So, yeah, you're right. The GOAT of Dondi, for sure.
Yeah. It's not to disparage Jordan, but, like, even if you're looking at money, like...
I mean, I don't think it's a disparage to Jordan.
Definitely not. But I'm just saying, like, what he did was incredible, and the resume preceding it, like, you have to give this man his flowers. Like, insane job for people that he directly eliminated to not and against someone that person was working with, and for them to like just be like, you know what, I like you and respect you enough that I am going to help you as well. Like, that speaks volumes.
Yeah, Rob,
No
was
doubt.
there any suspense for you coming into the episode if Philip was actually going to eliminate David here? Did you think he was going to go
Very
through it?
little. I would have been shocked if Philip didn't end up doing, because it felt like that I had a good read on Philip in terms of like when Philip we saw what he was going to do with CK of like, hey, I'm going to tell her which one, and he did the same thing to David of I'm going to tell them, and I think he really wanted them to say, you didn't believe me. I was honest. You didn't trust me. That's why you lost. I was good. You were dumb. And so that David, I think, had the great relationship with Philip that I heard from when you all talked to Philip on your interview. So I felt very good that David was going to get the high case from Philip.
I'm happy that David won. But
Yeah.
I am a little bit disappointed that Philip didn't just kind of pull the rug up under his from under his feet, because I like a petty bitter jury. I do.
You love a petty king.
I do. I don't care. I'll say it. Because we always get in like this meritocracy in these reality shows. Like you have to do these certain things and then you'll win the game. And sometimes people just get their feelings hurt and they don't care. And I like when people say like, "Hey, I'm not working with you. I'm not voting for you. I'm not doing these things." And they mean it. I love when they mean it. I'm not necessarily saying that David shouldn't have won, but I would have been like, had Philip done it, I'd be like, oh, like it would have been just so perfect for me, because that's what I want. I want my reality TV people to be like, emotional and to react when they say like, hey, nah, you F with me, you're dead. Like Abby Maria is not giving him the case. You know what I'm saying? Like those are my reality stars. Okay. So Philip did a thing and it was cool. And David will go on to win billions and billions of dollars on this show. And hopefully he broke Philip off a little something. But at the same time, Philip, you had a chance to make a moment. And I'm just saying, make the moment.
But maybe that speaks to, and this is something I think about a lot, because obviously in these games, in a lot of cases, you are going to have to, betray someone, screw somebody over. And sometimes those are people that you've built bonds with. But I think if you're very emotionally intelligent and know the people that you're playing with and that you're potentially like severing, their games, and know how to actually like don't screw the people that that once you've screwed them, they will do everything in their power to make sure you lose. Like, know your relationships and know how to talk to people, because you know what kind of treatment they want and expect and would respect. And I think that David is very, very good at, because even in like the little bits that we saw in his interactions with everyone during that final excursion, like I felt like he had these like really good, sincere moments. And I think that there's a part of this where give David some props in that he probably knew his relationship. It sounds like we didn't get to see as like a lot of the depth of the relationship between David and Philip, but he probably had some trust in the fact that like, okay, I did kind of screw him, but I know him and I know how he feels about me. So I think that like you're going to have to do this every once in a while, but knowing the people that you're screwing and how they'll and who will take what in which ways and how to manage those relationships, like you can get out of this. So I think that's definitely an element here.
Just to recap, know who you're screwing and how they like to take it.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's the message.
Right. Put it in the Jenny rule books.
There we go.
I couldn't believe how quickly we went from that tie break or the final two, Letty losing, to we got like David like looking back at his game, a little bit of like a David highlight reel, to we're in the Banker's Temple. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
We're like 5 minutes in.
Did you think at that moment this is going to be a crazy game of Dond? Yeah.
I thought that we were going to potentially that some sort of reunion was on the table. Like I kind of thought that we were going to maybe like catch up with the cast at the end of it.
Before David comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I didn't even think about the timing. I was watching David play the banker, and at some point I was like, damn, how much longer do we have in this episode? Because this was flying by, and I was like, wait a minute, we doing this the whole time? I was like, oh yeah, this is great.
And this was a much differently formatted finale from season 1, because I feel like that the season 1 finale, I'm not even sure if Boston Rob had been eliminated in the penultimate episode. I think it was a cliffhanger. And I think that we got Rob eliminated, and then Stephanie eliminated, and then Amy and Jordan had a final 2 competition that was still part of it. I don't even think that we got Howie revealed. I think we saw like the helicopter landed in the penultimate episode, and then we had a Howie reveal, and then we got to Jordan playing Deal or No Deal. I don't remember how many suitcases or briefcases Jordan had in the final game of Deal or No Deal. It seemed like that this was a lot. I wasn't expecting 25 cases for David to have to open.
I feel like it was more than like the usual 12 that they were doing, but I don't know.
It was more. I don't remember if it was quite 20.
many.
I was like, well, there's a lot of cases.
Yeah, was it 26 that we did?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And also that I don't remember at what point Jordan took the deal, and that, there may have been more cases left when she ends up taking her deal.
Yeah, I don't think that she went as far as
I don't think she got down to only like 3 or 4 suitcases. I feel like there was more cases on the board.
Yeah, she got practical at a certain point and said, listen, I got to make sure I walk out of here with a paycheck. And she did, and she did great. It's wild to think about all of that stuff was packed into the last finale, and that we truly just watched the reveal of David being the one and right into it. And then the whole rest of the episode was literally just David playing Deal or No Deal. Cause like, you have to think that at a certain point, even if they didn't do the little check-in with the eliminated players before David plays, like you might think, okay, like we're going to get to David making whatever deal, whatever money he gets. And then maybe they'll do like a little talk to everyone at the end, even though they didn't do that last season. You never know. This is a really, really awesome cast and some big players here to check in with. But no, it was just all. And as someone who, that's not, I know it's the name of the game, but we yada yada the Deal or No Deal game often, it's a means to an end for us here. But this was gripping. Like this made me be like, you know what? The game is important.
Yeah,
the donned part is important.
I will say that I think that the difference between the typical Deal or No Deal game that they're playing each week and then this is that the money that's actually, they're trying to add money to the pot, but to us a little bit like it's not the most exciting thing to see how much money gets added to the pot. I mean, we saw Dixon add $5 million at one point this season, but really it's just kind of like, well, are they going to get eliminated or not? And really the big exciting thing we want to see is if they don't get eliminated, who are they going to pick to go home? In this case, like there were real stakes in that David was winning or losing this money. Whereas in the normal game that we watch, we're sort of like, I'm like, hey, open all the high cases. So you're going to get a offer that's going to be lower to help your odds to stay.
Right. We look at it as a game of survival. It's like, you just got to make it through this. Because you have to get to the point where David gets to, where you can go up against the banker. So it does feel like the stakes are a lot lower when it comes to the actual making of the deal, right? Like, I don't care if you offer me $2. Am I staying in the game or not? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's really what I'm looking at. Whereas here, it's like, all bets are off. This is all about the money. Do you go home with a low amount, or are you able to break the bank? And this is why Deal or No Deal is on for years and years and years, because this stuff is very fun to watch, right? It is the guy at the craps table. It's everybody crowded around watching one person, potentially win a lot of money or bust, And so here, look, Jenny, and so sometimes you do both. Yeah, I don't know. So there.
Yeah. Okay. So we have a reveal of our banker, Chrissy Teigen, is here. Now, Deal or No Deal. What's that?
Second reveal.
So Deal or No Deal revealed this on social media earlier this week. Did you see this video where Howie revealed, okay, here's the banker, everybody, Chrissy Teigen, somebody not on our radar.
Everybody, like, why did they do this? Jenny, why don't they care about spoiling this show for us?
I don't know. I don't know if it was starting to like make the rounds, but it was one of those things where it absolutely made sense as soon as I knew, because everything that we were throwing around was, you know, someone linked to either original Deal or No Deal or you know, the previous season of Dondi, because even when I was like reaching for the stars saying like, oh, Meghan Markle, perhaps, like this was like Meghan Markle, but like it made sense. And it just felt a little bit more like the vibe of the show.
Yeah.
But it was really funny because I hadn't been thinking about it. I think in the back of my head, I knew that Chrissy Teigen had been a case model, but like it wasn't living in like the front part of my psyche. So like it was just hanging out in an old box. And the funny part is like right before the reveal, one of our lovely listeners, shout out to Allie, sent me a message about Chrissy Teigen, and I guess she had posted on social media at some point during the season about like, oh, this is reminding me of the old days. I think it was an old post. And she's like, is this something? And then like 10 minutes later, I swear to God, they did the reveal. So it was a little wild. I was like, I wish they saved it for the show, but you know.
I think the thought was Chrissy Teigen has a big social media presence, and if they spoil it, then maybe Chrissy Teigen's social media followers tune in to watch the Deal or No Deal finale, as opposed to then if it's just for, sure, it's a headline for people on Tuesday night, but they didn't tune in to watch the show when they could have.
And honestly, they've been really leaning into advertising the show all season by any means necessary, right? Like they're like, we'll spoil the show. I don't care. We'll tell you this is the highest briefcase of all time. Like this is the highest
network
offering.
Television.
Network television history. And it's like, if you're watching the show and that's in the back of your mind, you're thinking, oh, well, David's obviously not going to take one of these low deals. He's not going to take $1 million, $2 million, because we've seen that given away. You're like waiting on him to get to the point where, okay, now I see why Joe been hollering at us all season. And so you're right. You got that. Then you link the Chrissy Teigen thing, but you want everybody here for this David occasion, right? You want everybody gathered around. If we got to go get the Teigen army, then that's fine.
Well, look, if we got to get people with a big social media following, how about for season 3? What about the Rizzler?
He's not close enough to Deal or No Deal for me, Rob.
The Rizzler wouldn't be a good banker, Chappell?
Was he ever?
Can he have a bank account?
Right. Is he old enough? Like, what is child labor laws? I don't know.
Is he allowed to be a banker?
I did some research after I saw that it was Chrissy Teigen. I was like, well, who are the most famous Deal or No Deal, case models that have gone on to do other stuff, right?
It's Anya.
Yeah. No, Dixon, you freaking frog.
Dirty dog.
You dirty dog. But the top 3, literally on the article I saw from last year, were in that exact order: Meghan Markle, Chrissy Teigen, and Claudia Jordan. And so,
but Chrissy Teigen, I don't believe that. Look, she's worked her way up to a lot of success, including being the banker. But that she was I think it was kind of more of a footnote in her career that she was a dealer. It wasn't that Deal or No Deal made her, because I think she was only in 8 episodes of Deal or No Deal. And she has humorously noted being gently replaced after struggling with the role's demands, like knowing when to make certain facial expressions.
She's a clown. I love her. So much. But that's the thing. It's a footnote in all these people's careers. Meghan Markle is the Duchess. Like, she does not care. I
think when you become the Duchess, it's like Deal or No Deal definitely is not going to be.
And Claudia Jordan was very famous before Deal or No Deal too. So this is not like for them. This is all just like this one thing that they did in the past. But it's so cool to see how far they've come. And Chrissy Teigen is the banker. I don't know what they do for next year for the banker. No clue.
Okay.
She was Christine, the case model. She didn't even go by Chrissy back then. She was Christine.
Yeah.
Even Dixon was thrown off.
Like I wonder if is Dixon such a Deal or No Deal hot girl historian that he had Chrissy Teigen, had her number, knew how many episodes she was on. Like, I'm just wondering, because it sounds like they were given clues I don't know where I saw this, but I think Parvati said in one an interview, or there was like a clip somewhere.
I think she said it to us.
Did she say it to us? Or I thought there was maybe a clip after the reveal where they were giving the players hints throughout the season, and she actually ended up guessing Chrissy Teigen. So I now I just need to know. I need the footage of Dixon going through every single hottie, being like, could be Chrissy Teigen, number 12. Everyone remembers. Right. Just me? Okay.
Is it Layla Milani? I don't know. Let me think. Man, this is crazy.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so David is all set up and ready to go. They did a little bit of a check-in with everybody. They asked Dr. Will about Dr. Will, what did you think about the family? And he said, I thought it was like the Manson family.
Oh, Dad.
Okay. All right.
He's not Dad. He is the pool boy or the babysitter. I don't really know. He's some sort of
the nanny.
Yeah.
I mean, he can't be like on Big Brother 22 when he was like the next door neighbor, sort of like
in his robe
with the bathrobe.
In his robe. Yeah.
Drinking coffee. Yeah.
I mean, that's basically what he was. He was the nosy neighbor of the family this time. Yeah. He got saved from around the way back. She's definitely trying to be like the other woman in the family. She's like tag me in. I could be the side chick. It's cool.
Yeah. I'll show up whenever. Especially the bank account you got now.
Right. So we end. All our cases are up on the board, including that big $12 million case. 18 is David's number once again.
Yeah.
And he did good the first time. We have to remember, we watched him play Deal or No Deal when he eliminated Will. And
said, sorry, brother, you're done.
You're done, yeah. And he did well at that. So it's like, what, if it's not broke, you don't have to fix it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And David comes out hot. Okay. He ends up with 4 of the lower values. 3 super low values, 100,000 and 200,000 and a penny. And so Chrissy says she thought that David was just here to be eye candy. She was impressed.
Yeah. She didn't know what impressed was yet. She thought she was, she really, this was nothing, Chrissy. Strap in for this one. Yeah.
Okay.
Coincidentally, Jordan, I believe her case was 19 when she did her big battle against the banker. So I don't know. Maybe if you're playing the odds, you're like, okay, maybe I need to get away. Maybe I need to be somewhere in these higher teens when I select my case.
Ended up being 75. It's just about knowing.
Knowing what not to pick.
Just
what not to pick.
Narrow it down to something and then just take it.
Okay.
She only had 22 cases, I think it was. So, it's a little different.
So David does knock off a couple of the higher cases. He knocks off in the next round $3 million and $1 million, but also $200, $50,000, $300,000 to get him to his second offer, which is $499,000. Chrissy's being a little cheap here. She could have just gone with $500,000.
I loved everyone booing too.
And isn't this when Chrissy Teigen calls about being like he's the greatest Survivor contestant of all time? Isn't that where that comes up?
And she says she was more of a fan of Boston Rob.
And
I don't know.
David had the perfect reply to that. He said, first of all, he said, "Oh, that hurts," but then he said, "Oh, did he win this show?" And I was like, "Oh, that's fine." I mean, he's got a point.
I mean, to be fair, David already won the show. He won the show when we got rid of Letty. He's the winner of Deal or No Deal Island. There is nobody else that you can compare to him. And then he goes and wins the money.
Yeah, but if he goes home with $60, that I don't know, he's like, he's the winner, but it's kind of like
Philip could have been the winner. Like Philip could have been the person that ended up with the most money here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So now Dr. Will
was wonderful throughout.
He starts calling him Australian Dave.
Yeah, don't be bitch. Don't be bitch made.
Don't be bitch made. He made
real.
The callback, like, oh my goodness, these are two men that know how to make great television, which is why the combination of them was just made for perfect TV. Will knew the moment he did the callback to to what David said.
Yep. And then David said, "Mama didn't raise no."
That part.
There was lots of bleeping going on, actually.
I gotta get one of them bleep buttons, Rob, because I be saying some stuff sometimes.
Yeah. I think it's for both of us, Chappell.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's get into then. Dixon was going to weigh in. Dixon, hey, I got all the hot babe case numbers if you want them.
Yeah. And to David's credit, he's like, yeah, of course, son. And he does. And Dixon does drop Layla Milani as one of his favorites. You know, she is one of the models that I found in the top.
Yes, but Anya is his one. That Anya was number 10.
Yeah, not as famous as Layla, but yeah, Dixon got the receipts for David, and he knew to trust in his son. That's the thing. He could have heard Dixon and been like, "Nah, not good enough," but he was like, "No."
And they were good pieces.
My son knows all the hot babes. Okay,
for my son. Yeah.
One of my favorite parts of this is Joe's reaction to this, because Joe had the same reaction to when Dixon did this the first time, and he was just spouting off like, and then the other hottie from Deal or No Deal. So then he's like doing it again, and then it's like turning out to be great cases for David to open. Like Joe is such a professional, but like I also love that when you can see like he's actually just being himself and having normal reactions to some of the things, being like, okay, yeah, it's Dixon's hot girl summer out here. Like, what is happening? Like,
it wasn't wrong. He wasn't wrong.
Okay. So David opens up 500, 400, and then number 13 for Layla is 50. Joe calls it's a hot girl summer for Dixon.
More so for David.
Yeah.
Yep. And then Parvati's like, hey, what about me? My birthday's 21. Like, all right, fine.
I'm a hot girl too.
Yeah.
I'm a hot girl too.
Did Parvati just become Lil?
I thought a little in that moment a little bit. It's like, what about my birthday?
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
I was born on the 21st.
21 is $500,000. Okay.
Not bad.
Yes. And then Chrissy Teigen accuses David of not wearing the pants in his own family. He has to have the family pick out suitcases for him.
I'm surprised we could find pants that fit this man, because dear God, okay, the cojones, okay, right? Yeah, she's saying this as she's offering him $994,000. Like, lady, chill.
And here's the thing, it's like, I do love that she was giving us like the sassy banker lines. Like, I'm glad that we got someone, because all of my respect to Meghan Markle, but like we wouldn't have gotten that.
She can do it.
I do believe. But
did you hear some of the sassy things she said about the Queen, Jenny?
Oh yes, I've heard.
Okay, she can go there.
That's
right.
fair. But to this though, Chrissy is like trying to, insult David's masculinity by saying like, oh, you have to turn to like Parvati and Dixon for your case numbers. Like, you don't wear the pants in the family. I'm like, maybe it's just a man that respects his family and wants to include them in his decisions. Maybe that's the most masculine part of all. That was my thought, at least. I was getting defensive. I said, listen, first of all, he's wearing shorts by choice. So he's not wearing pants.
A lucky matching ensemble for David.
It was perfect.
Yeah. It was a pajama set.
But like way more swag. And it like the matching pattern, it was, and you wanted things to be breezy in there. Like, we heard there's lots going on. You got to keep things moving.
Yeah. I do feel like that Howie came in with, and he's a Deal or No Deal, like experienced pro. And he was like a little bit like moving around. He was like really mixing it up. I did like it when, Chrissy Teigen was ultimately like in the fetal position from like I thought she got there, but I thought Howie was like a little more punchy with the contestants. Like he was really like going in on Jordan.
Yeah, she understood the assignment. She got there. You're right. Yeah, because by the end, I was like, I feel like we're all in this together. Like she's rooting against him, like because she's the maker. But make no mistake, I think she was even engulfed in David's aura at that point.
Yeah.
We just started off in the chair, like it was very like
on the floor.
You know, it was giving like Inspector Gadget,
Yeah.
Yes.
like villain,
the claw.
Yeah, I felt like she needed a cat to be like stroking and like I don't know.
I'll get you next time, David.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then the anxiety sets in, and she's like, okay, and all of a sudden she's on her hands and knees, like super escalated.
Yeah, David broke her. That was great. Okay. Yeah. David has to open 3 more cases: 1 million, 2 million, and 1,000.
Hey, the high case is still up there. And yeah, what did it say? Chrissy says she's going to offer him more than 3 times the amount of his Survivor winnings because Australian Survivor hosed him.
Yeah. Well, they asked him, how much money did you make on Australian Survivor? He said 500,000. He left out 500,000 Australian.
Right. Right. I gasped.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, heavens. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The taxing situation's probably different though. But,
Maybe.
But this was interesting to me because do you remember when Philip was talking about like never let someone become a millionaire on TV more than once. David being in on that was technically not like lying. Like that was not him being like, you know, including himself because it's like, I didn't become a millionaire on TV.
To be fair, he let David become a millionaire 3 times in one season.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. 6 times.
6 times, yeah. Like over and over again. Like each time, boom, 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 boom. David never has to do another television show again.
Okay.
Yeah.
So David's 4th deal is $1,523,000.
Yeah.
More than Jordan won, right?
Yeah. I think so. I think so, Jordan was like 1.1 or something.
Yeah.
Maybe 1.
And so he says, no deal. He's gonna, and everyone's like, David, it's a lot of money.
Yeah. But
now at this point, there's still a couple of $1 million cases that are on the board. And so it's like, okay, well, all right, like, you know, F around and find out a little bit, but okay, you still have some fallbacks, but he's trying to avoid the $12 million case, but he opens up back-to-back $1 million cases at 16 and 20. And now another deal comes in, $1.98 million. And everybody's like, all right, David, take the deal.
It's time. It's time. It's time to go. It's time to go. This is not a player's board. It's time to go.
Time.
Yeah. And he was like, "Nah, I live for this." He picked 16 for his eldest boy. I was like, "Oh, look at him!" You know, it's just like he had more juice in him. He was like, "Nah, I can't quit right now. I still got good numbers on the board." Yeah. What can you do?
The thing is that he, as long as that the 12 is still in play, you are just it doesn't matter. It almost doesn't matter what you open as long as it's not that, because the gap between, especially because like the next high numbers were gone fairly early in the game, and so there was like several $1 million and they start going away, and it's like his offers are already above that, so it's basically like you're just playing to get yourself as far as possible, keeping the 12 in play until you get an offer that you feel like I'm good with this, or you commit to the end. So it was just wild to like see like $1 million cases being open and everyone's like cheering.
Yay!
Like,
yeah.
But that's the thing, is like he had nothing else. It was like really you're just committing. The gap was already so large between that and the next number, and then that also disappeared so quickly. So it really didn't matter. Like the two sides of the board didn't matter. It was truly just like, don't pick the bomb, you know?
Exactly.
This is when David cites what he heard from Lachelle. What's meant for me is meant for me.
Period.
Yeah.
Lachelle,
cool.
Jenny, we've been saying it all season.
I know.
That's the one. She's one of them ones,
Yeah.
man. What are you gonna do?
And I know we've said it a bunch of different ways, but it was just so amazing to just see him have just like such like clear vision to like he'd think for a second and then okay, that one. And it was like he knew he wasn't hemming and hawing. He was just like so connected in the moment where he's just locked in. I've never seen anybody like that.
Yeah. There's one point where he says, I need a small case. And Ben opens $100. I was like, David, please. God, why? How did you do that? You know, I was like, all right, look, just give him the money. There was a moment where I was like, is he going to get the big prize? Is he going to get all the way down? Is this man going to just like maneuver his way to the big ass $12 million case? I thought it was possible. I was a believer.
Yeah.
He knocks off 100. He knocks off $1 million again, but the high case is still in play, and he has a deal on the table for $2.9 million.
I love the offer. 2.9 makes it feel like, you know, you're almost at 3. Don't you want 3? You know, like it's just like it's so to me it's so cheeky. Like they're dangling this carrot. Like, why would you stop at 2.9 when all you gotta do is open one more case and you can get 3? Don't you want 3? I was like, all right, Baker, I see what you're doing, Christine.
But is that a bad move? Is that a bad move from Chrissy? Because like, should you not, if it's close enough to 3, do you just make it 3 so that he takes it because it feels bigger and it's like because the starting number is
what does
bigger.
The banker want? Does the banker want
I mean, she kept saying, I want you to take this deal. I want you to stop playing. But I guess there's like 2 things here. It's like if you're also seeing what's left out there, it's like he could just get a little greedy and keep, opening. And then I only have to pay this guy $75.
No, see, I think she wants him and haw. I think she wants the like, 2.9, 3. I don't know. And he's just not giving it to her. He's just not. He's like, nah, I'm good on that. I want the 3. It's a 75% chance that he's good at this point, but if he takes out the $12 million, this would be like catastrophic.
So Parvati tells him, take the deal, David. What are you doing?
Shh.
Yeah.
Calm down.
And this is when Joe mentions what Jenny said before of, David, can you go back and tell your family that you left all this money on the table, $2.9 million. He's like, can I go back and tell my family that I left $8 million on the table?
He's got a point.
Points are made. Dad, you could have brought us $8 million and you chose to bring 2? A little ghetto.
Storm says, go with your gut. And David says, no deal.
And I loved Storm here. Like Storm, that was very poignant from Storm, where he was just like, listen, like, I just feel like he gave him like that little boost of confidence, saying like, we've all been telling you to do stuff here and you've been listening, but like, I don't think that you're doing your own thing. And like, you're still here. Trust your gut. And I just like feel like that was like a really good message, because David was doing it. Like, he didn't need, I mean, yeah, he was asking people for number ideas, but like ultimately, like what seems to drive him here is like the sense of like what ones were still in play that he felt good about. So yeah.
Dr. Will is he's even overheating. He's opening his shirt. Dr. Will, this was too much for him.
Yeah, he had already said this by this point, but he says David has the hairiest bleep in Australia. Let's go. Rob, David has the hairiest what? What did Will bleep out?
I have a take on what it is.
Oh, yeah? You know?
Well, I'm gonna write it down.
Yeah, the hairiest bleep. We're looking for the hairiest bleep. All right, Rob, show us your answer.
I said, dingo.
Dingo!
I don't know if it was 2 syllables. I like dingo. Dingo is fun. It's topical. It's relevant to the, to the area. Not that area.
Jenny.
They are hairy.
Is there something about having a hairy dingo that would make you better at Deal or No Deal?
Maybe just confidence.
just because it's just hairy.
Yeah, and it's I don't know. And suddenly I have more questions for Will
About dingoes. You know,
No,
like,
it's
I need to know.
but I'm like, I actually have more questions for.
Hey, I
for
could get
Will
my
on.
dingo hair caught in a mousetrap if I don't
Oh
play
my
my cards
God.
right.
Luke.
Luke
Oh, we're gonna miss
gem.
that man. Yeah, we're gonna miss Luke. Yeah.
I could have had a whole segment of just Luke and Seychelle being like the Statler and Waldorf of
Yes.
like of the audience.
Did
like,
we hear
who
CK
were
once?
comments.
I don't know.
I think she just said
Very quiet.
I heard
Well,
her
she
say
did. She was
the
chiming in because you
deal.
know she's a gambler. She's a gambler.
Yeah,
So there was
she run
moments
the
where she was
numbers.
kind of she was running the numbers. Yeah.
Oh, she asked
Okay.
him if he was a gambler, and he said not really. And then
He
she's like,
said
then I think you
no.
should bring this money back to your family.
And he
she's
said
like,
no deal.
And he said, I'm not listening to you.
Never.
I ain't listening to you, CK. Yeah.
Mhm. All right. So round 7, open one case. This is that moment. 7, 17, or 24. Okay.
It was so quiet. It was silent in the room.
Okay.
Everyone's sweating. Like
He
these
says-
people are begging him.
Yeah.
Begging him.
Please stop.
Please
Okay.
stop.
He opens up 17, which has the $750 in it.
Kamari, this was perfect. Like it was just like I was just like, Kamari, don't do this to this man. Don't do this. You know, like I would be so nervous to be the banker's assistant, to open the case, Jenny, and be the one to snatch $8 million from this man's kids.
Mhm.
Here's the thing, Chappell. You know, so in an alternate universe, I dream of you and I being the bank's assistant.
Absolutely.
Oh.
You know, us being Ben and Kamari in another world.
Obviously.
However, after watching what they went through
couldn't
with
handle
David
it.
here, I don't know if I could do it.
You, Jenny, the two of us up there just like shaking like leaves and crying. Stop it. Stop the shenanigans, man.
Like
Take
at
us
first I
down.
was like, I don't know if I'm hot enough for this, but now I'm like, I actually just have no nerves at all. I would be like no poker face. I would be sweating bullets.
Yeah.
So
come open this
we
case.
have
I'm
to
not doing it.
we have to give Ben and Kamari their flowers because
They were on their
did
A
a
game.
great
Everybody
job.
rose
Not
to
2
the
weeks
occasion.
today. Right.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So this is when David goes up to talk to Chrissy Teigen directly.
He clowned his big
Who
ass
is-
up there on that ledge.
Yeah, she's now like on the floor, like, oh my God, I'm not gonna be able to pay the electric bill.
John's gonna kill me.
Mhm.
Yeah. Got to drop another album. He's gonna have to get another EGOT. She offers this man $3,870,000. $70,018
Yeah.
something like that.
Mhm.
Some random ass assortment
I
of
think we're at the
numbers.
point that, okay, we want David to take the deal. We put his lucky number in
end.
the offer. I
middle.
think they're like, okay, we
70.
really,
Why
we
they-
Get
really
some
need him to
sevens in
take
here.
it. I'm like,
Yeah,
please,
get some-
please.
The
take the
insurance
deal.
company is on the phone. They're pissed.
Yeah.
Mhm. What do you
And-
mean he didn't take the deal?
Like we threw the 18 at the end. That was how we were gonna do
They're like,
this.
He's Australian. We don't know what to do. Like his dingo is hairy.
Okay, so many boss moments from David here. Just like the fact that he's already turned down all of these offers when he's been offered like very high amounts of money that everyone else there is like, I would take that easily. I would love to take that. You know, is offered almost $4 million here. And then everyone's pleading. They all seem exhausted. And he goes, yeah, we got a problem though. There's a number here that I don't like. This little 24.
I don't like
Mhm.
that. I don't like that.
It's like, and I think at that moment, as soon as people heard that he was like, yeah, but we got a problem because I think everyone really thought like, okay, this is the
He's done
deal
it.
he takes. He's
Yeah.
gonna take this one. You know, Chrissy got down on her hands and knees. She said this, I'm thinking about your family. I'm thinking about your dad. And he's like, yeah, but that 24 though, I don't feel
I
so
just
good
don't
about
like
that
it.
number.
Yeah, is it Severance where you have to go in and find the bad numbers, the
Yeah,
scary
that's
numbers?
what he's doing. He's like,
He's
okay,
like,
I feel this. I feel something here.
number in here. Yeah, we got
Mhm.
the. Yeah, he was in his bag. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, he's getting close to completing Cold Harbor. Okay. He says number 24 does not sit with him, and he opens it up. It's $25.
I'd have married Ben. I'd have been like, Ben, like, Kamari, we're just gonna join. Like, this, I owe you my life. That just feels like $25 is crazy that came.
And this is where Ben does that fake out, which it's like
it can't end like this, not like this. I was like, Ben, you
not like this.
It's like, Ben, don't you fuck? And I was like,
but that again, it's like you take him up the roller coaster, right? And then you get that exciting drop. So it's like, what a rush. Again.
All right. So there's only one case left on the board.
I know.
Okay. Number 7 is all that's left. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Rob, I don't have any more notes after this. It just says, take the effing deal, David. That's all I have. I don't have.
Please.
Okay. Chrissy Teigen gathers herself enough to get out the deal. $5.8 million. David has 3 options here. He could take the deal. He could or basically it's 2 options: take the deal or move forward. And there's 3 outcomes.
That's his case.
Yes, and then he will open his case.
Yeah. So
he has to decide, where is the money? Does he feel good enough that he has his suitcase? Does he have the $12 million?
And this is the point where everyone is like, yeah, he's just going to get the 12 million. Like, he's going to ride this out, because at a certain point, they're like, this MFer is crazy. Like, he is taking us on a ride, and he has decided that his case is the case, and he's going to just go to the end, and we're going to play this entire game out. And this man is sniffing out money like in the most ridiculous ways, because he gives us the ultimate swerve, which is just beautiful. I love that he's like, I'm looking for a sign, and Joe says, I'm looking at a sign that says $5.8 million like right up here.
Yeah.
I have no notes. I have nothing to add. It just says take the effing deal. I have nothing. Like,
take the deal.
Man. Yeah.
Okay. And he does. He takes the deal. $5.8 million.
And again, this man knows how to make good TV, because he knows he's taking the deal at this point, but he says, I know where that money is. And all of his friends watching are like exhausted. Like, this looked like 5 a.m. after a bunch of college kids partying, and like they've seen some shit, okay, and they need to go to bed. Like, just so much has happened, and he's like, yeah, I know where that money is at, but I've also seen hubris take out people. And then he's like, but in this case, and it's like he's taking everyone up and down again. They're like, oh my God, he's gonna say no deal. Like, he's literally gonna open his case. And then he swerves them again, gives a great television moment, takes the deal, $5.8 million.
And his case was $75. So he even made a good deal.
Insane.
He fleeced the banker with his $75 case.
What do you think the narrative is if he had the 12 million in the case? Like, what do you think the vibe is?
If
you're not
so
unhappy
he took the deal, but it's like, oh, if you would have stayed. I mean, I feel like that the different, and look, maybe people are like, okay, Rob, speak for yourself. But I feel like the difference in your life between $5.8 million and $12 million is not as big as $75 and 5.8. Like, I think, like, really, like, would you even miss the other $6 million, or would like your grandkids miss the other $6 million?
True. If we have a planet by then.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
wow. Okay. Well, that took a turn.
Well, I'm just saying. I'm saying, like sometimes you have to keep it real.
She said it's dark and hell is hot. You know.
I'm the first person to say that.
So David made the amazing deal. He knew he had it. Really, he talked about God a lot during this final Deal or No Deal game, which I feel like that did not come up a lot during the season. That threw me for a loop. I mean, good for David. I just didn't know that he was such a spiritual person.
And he was tapped in spiritually. You know, he was in it. He was in it. He was locked in. And for David, I think he fully believed and subscribed to exactly what he was thinking. The feelings that he was having, his spiritual bond that he had, the meditation that he clearly does, and all that stuff, it all just aligned. And I think in our exit press with Parvati, we kind of talked about how, like, for Parvati moving through the game, she was locked in. She was aligned. Things were just happening. And then when it came to play to the banker, she said, I didn't feel like myself. I wasn't in my body. I felt like something was just off. I had lost whatever, psychic connection I had to the universe. David was in lockstep with the universe, right? The Venn diagram is this. It's just boom. He was right here the whole time. And then, like, there was no wavering. And then he knew when to pull out. He had this moment where he knew. He said hubris could taking down, people and all this other stuff. It's like, yeah. And I'm thinking, hubris got you here. There's no way that you like, I would have been gone. I'd have been gone a long time ago. I took that money and ran. But it's like, no, it's not hubris. It's not hubris if you're right. He knew it. He knew it. He was confident. And then he knew when it was over. And I just like, hey, it's a little mid. I ain't gonna lie. But he all right.
Well, yeah. And then we get a funny button at the end of the episode where Chrissy Teigen, the worst banker of all time.
She asked if she's fired.
Mm-hmm.
To that I ask, was Howie fired? Is that why?
Absolutely.
Is that why we got a new banker? Okay.
I think maybe Howie needs to come back.
He's gonna have to get this prize pot lowered. Chrissy did not.
Mm-hmm.
The guessing about the banker has been, it's been a fun little bit. We've done it for 2 seasons now, but I don't know that I need that especially if they're going to just tell us before the reveal on the show. I would be fine. I want the interactions with the ultimate opponent or whatever they call them and the banker in the finale to be fun. And if they can't come up with another person that makes sense and can give us that, then let's just go back to Howie, or I don't know, let's rotate them out.
I think it could be Howie every season. That's fine.
I mean, it made sense. I didn't really
the final
know.
Boss. Yeah.
Yeah. He just wanted a vacation. I don't know. And I respect
have an alternate plan. I would love for them to be like, there's a mystery about the banker. We get to the banker's temple and they're like introducing the banker. And Joe Manganiello just stands up. He's like, this time I'm taking you on the ride. It's like, he's like, Joe.
That would be
because he knows them. He was there every step of the way. He's been like, the banker said, I'm the banker. There is no banker. It's me versus you. Sit down. Let's talk. I would love that because, I think you're kind of right, Jenny. You want this lore, to kind of extend to future seasons. Like, David might have beat me, but this time I'm back. I kind of want that energy.
Yeah, I want to believe it.
Like there's a grudge match here.
Yeah.
All right. Do we want to compare Dondi 1 and Dondi 2?
Oh, that's interesting. I mean, we try not to pit 2 bad bitches next to each other, but here we are.
Mm-hmm.
When you say
between Anya and Layla,
right? It's yeah. So Rob, when comparing said seasons, what is your criteria? Are you looking at the game overall? Are you looking at higher highs? Are you looking at moments? What are you thinking?
Yeah, I feel like in terms of moments, and I feel like from the week to week, I definitely feel like that season 2 had the better ending than season 1. And with all due respect to Jordan, it has the much better final Deal or No Deal game. And I think the superior winner, the more dominant winner in terms of playing the game. Season 2 also had some really high highs along the way. I feel like that the season really did peak in the middle when it seemed like that Will and sort of the people outside of the family were mounting a rebellion against the people in the family. And then I felt like that once we had sort of the bloodbath of Will and Seychelles end up like going out. It seems like that there's not a lot of teeth left in the resistance, and Letty and Philip, like, I don't even know if they were actually, like, knowing how close like Philip and David were, if that was even like a real thing that was going on. So it seemed like a little bit of like a cakewalk for David and Parvati to get there after that middle point in the game. Whereas I felt like the story of Rob in the first season, I felt like was a more compelling long-term story that like lasted even when Rob was kind of down and out. I think there was still the storyline that got us all the way to the finale of, will Rob be able to do it? Like, can he beat the odds with all of the night owls working to get him out of the game? So I think I was a little bit more invested in the season 1 storyline of Rob along the way, but I think season 2 has a better ending.
Well, and I think season 2 had more storylines. I think that, it's very obvious what the story is in season 1. And it is a good story. Like, I agree with you, Rob. Like, you're very invested in how that plays out. And it's kind of, but I just feel like there were so many little things happening in season 2. And you had, 3 experienced reality TV people return. So, like you're amping up television quality just by having them there. But again, we have to give some props to the rest of the cast here that also did a lot of heavy lifting in terms of creating a lot of drama
Cast
and
was
storylines
deeper in
about each
season
other.
2.
We had, and this is, again, no disrespect to the season 1 cast, because they did an incredible job, and there was
They're not
really,
listening
really
to
fun
the season
people.
2 finale recap.
But it doesn't matter if they're listening, guys. This is truly what I feel. Like, there were some really, there were some standouts, which gave me the confidence that we were going to get a good cast this season. But we also had like a couple weeks where like people just got bribed out of the game, and like there were just like some
Hey, Todd Herzog
inconsequential
made a Miranda pop figure, okay?
okay, but like that, and I mean, she was legendary in her own way. I just feel like, aside from the investment in Rob's story and whether like how long could he really ride this out, was Aaron going to betray him eventually, like that kind of thing, is like there wasn't a lot of other little things going on to make some of those episodes as exciting. Because if Rob was safe, like some of those temples, it was just kind of like seeing what people are going to get taken out. Whereas I just feel like in season 2, I was invested in the relationships between more than just the return, like our seasoned veteran players, like in the Parvati and David family story, and like in Will. I don't know. I just felt like it was a more flushed out experience, and I will never forget my first. Okay. Season 1 is so special to me, but God, I had a freaking blast watching this season. Like, it was really, really fun. And I really felt like it elevated the like,
maybe it speaks to just how dominant David and Parvati ultimately ended up being, because that once Will and Seychelles were gone, it did not really seem like David and Parvati were able to basically like outfox the rest of the group, where most often, like, I don't even think that there was a point up until Parvati went home when either of them was even vulnerable to go. So they were dominant in the challenges, and they were so dominant strategically, where even though Rob was dominant strategically in season 1, it was just him and Aaron, and they had all to do to kind of get anything going, where Aaron was trying to save his girlfriend and Rob was getting frustrated. So I feel like that there was like more of a chance of like, that was more of a high wire act for Rob than it ultimately ended up being for David and Parvati, who I never really worried that they were in any danger, because I felt like that the resistance to them was just never going to be able to get it together once Will and Seychelles were out.
So y'all are both all in on season 2 being the better season.
I feel like Rob is leaning slightly one here.
I'm saying I think that the cast is deeper in season 2. I think season 2 has the better winner, but I think that overall, I think that the story, the Rob story, I think was a better overall story of the season.
They're both my children, and I love them.
She's like, I shan't choose.
I can't. This is what I said. I can't make a decision. No, I lean season 2, but I agree with some of the points Rob is making here. But I'm
trying to be very fair.
Biased. I feel really, really good about this season. It was so good. It was so fun. I felt like almost every temple had like moments that were like, we had an incredible iconic first boot. Like even some of those early temples, like we had, like Storm getting taken out by Dixon, like early, that's still early game. And we were like, holy shit, that was crazy. So I don't know. I just feel like front to back, even though there were a couple things where I was like, okay, there was still the question of like, are they going to do it? Are they going to be able to pull it out? Chappell, where do you land on
forget Kim Bettina versus Claudia Jordan.
We didn't
That's
forget.
True.
We did not forget. Yeah. We did not forget.
I mean, I didn't forget, but you're right. That was kind of early in that season too. Okay.
Yeah,
and
that was episode 3.
Was gonna floss with somebody's jugular or something like that.
Yeah.
She told Stephanie that you should eat your makeup because you're ugly on the inside.
Yeah.
And outside. Yeah, that's what she said. Look, they were not pulling any punches in season 1. No. Make no mistake. These people all had like a joint enemy at CK at one point. But in season 1, it was like Rob and Aaron versus the Night Owls. But even the Night Owls amongst themselves were kind of like, nah, I'm not going for this shit. It was like, that's why I'm like, I'm not choosing. I think there are high highs on both sides. I think that obviously like the cast is good in different areas as well. The challenges, the things Rob was able to do in the challenges were way more impressive than what David and Parvati did here. Like Rob was like picking a needle out of a haystack and all the challenges just to save himself. And it was happening.
The challenges at the end of season 2 were definitely superior to the challenges at the end of season 1 also.
Yes, but yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Because I was like, man, that little rope thing that they did was insane. But yeah, the Rob Mays was pretty cool at the end.
Yeah, overall, I think the challenges were better and were actually probably a lot superior in season 2 than season 1.
Yeah. The one thing about Dottie though is that there's not a lot of bad episodes. Like we just did all this talking, and even the less memorable boots were decent episodes of television. You know what I'm saying? Like with the even when RHAP goes, that's when we get the appearance of Dr. Will here. So it's like they do a really good job of making sure that you're comparing to A+ level shows. Like there was not like 2-3 weeks where we're like, what are we doing here? You know what I'm saying? Like we always had something to talk about.
All right. Yeah. Until now. Because this is the end of Dondi.
Did David bankrupt our show? I just want to make sure, because when there was a moment where I was like, if this man takes $12 million, are we going to get a season 3? Like, am I ever going to get to do this again?
Money for season 2 comes out of the season 3 budget. I think that they do have an insurance policy against the potential winnings.
I looked it up.
Okay, then I feel okay about that, because there was a point where I was like, I want it to be competitive. I want to be excited about how much money could be won here, but not to the point where they can't afford to keep this going. Because I feel I really, really love this show, and I feel like if you are out here and you want to play a competitive reality show, whether you've been on one before or you haven't, like, how is this not the top of your list? How is it not the top of your list? You should want to. It's a great show. The chance of money won, and the height of the money that could be won.
Yeah.
Like,
your suffering is not a part of the show.
Right.
They have air conditioning
in little domes. There's iced tea. Like
iced tea.
Joe Manganiello's there, okay? Like, I'm sorry. This should be the top of everyone's list to play. And I feel like, we started with Rob, and then we saw what they were able to get for season 2. We're like, oh, it's not just one person. They're like, they brought Dr. Will out of retirement and then put him back into retirement. I just feel like
they borrowed him.
The sky's the limit now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
All right. Well, I am very much looking forward to seeing what you all had to say in the comments here on YouTube. If you're listening to the podcast version of this, head on over to watchrhap.com to visit our YouTube channel and check this all out. And if you're watching us here on YouTube, make sure you're subscribed to the podcast. Get RHAP.com, where we have so much coverage going on of a very fun Survivor season as well, and so much more happening here on RHAP. We have exit interviews coming up on Wednesday with David and Letty, so be sure not to miss that as well. All right. So, Jenny, what's coming up for you?
Nothing. I'm just, I feel like I'm glowing. I feel really, really good about how this season ended. I had such a great time covering it with you guys. Just, shout out to the Don Divas and the Don Deviants for sticking with us along the way. And I really hope that we'll be back for a banger of a season 3. Follow me on social media at Jenny Autumn. Anything else that I might be doing something. I don't know. I might be around. Yeah. Follow me. Thank you. I love you guys. It's been great. It's been a time. That's it.
All right. Love you too, Jenny. Okay.
My
Chappell,
family. You guys are my family.
Family. Okay. What's coming up for you, Chappell?
People got to follow me on social media to find out. Go follow me on Blue Sky at Recap Kickback. Go follow me on Twitter at Recap Kickback. Do that on all social media platforms. And then, make sure you subscribe to the podcast. YouTube.com/ at Recap Kickback or recapkickback.com/subscribe to keep up with everything I have going on.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us here for a season of fun here talking about Dondi. And check out our exit interviews coming up on Wednesday. Take care. Have a good one. Bye. This is RHAP. We know reality TV.